Here, John from Solo Boss. We're going to do a bit of a trailer upgrade, wiring up some 12 volt into a switch panel. So I've been wiring straight to the battery every time I want to turn it on and off. So now we're going to mount a switch panel up the top there. We're going to walk you through on how to wire it up. Pretty simple, positive, negative. What I've done is purchased power thing, I'll show. So we've got a PowerTech 4-switch system, so it's got all the wiring done on the plugs. So you just got to hook up to each plug, as you can see there. Hook up the power from that, and then hook up all the negatives together to the battery. It's got a diagram in there, and that's a housing, so it's going to mount on top of that and then sit in there. So you've got some shrink connectors, you've got some loops, more wiring there. Hook up a dual plug, some heavy duty positive wire. I got some negative wire where the kids dragged it. As you can see, we pulled all this apart. So you got your main wire, power wire, coming in, and then your power wire relays over to the second switch, so that powers all those switches. And then this is where you hook your motors and lights and stuff up to, and then you hook all your negatives come into one wire to offset that, so they're all wired up that way. That's a little positive switch that turns on a little blue light at the front to let you know it's on. So then we'll hook these two straight to the battery. That one will go to the battery as well, and then that'll be just the positives coming off the other connections. So we're going to use these on the pumps. So we'll have one of these coming out the side, so we can just plug the pump straight in and out. Every time it goes, we can just wire it straight into the battery component, and then we'll mount it up in there. So we'll get going. So what I've done is grabbed a piece of paper and I folded it the same size as the inside of this lip. So as you can see, there's a plastic grommet there. So when you cut out the square on this face, and when you screw it down onto the face of that, it seals tight. Mainly because these are designed for boats, but we definitely want to, so that'll sit like that, that'll just sit inside there. So the idea of folding the piece of paper to the same, just a little bit bigger than the inside of that housing, is that it'll sit in there nicely, and then you got the holes to use to screw it in there nice and tight, so you can pull off the front. Don't have to pull up the front because these ones have got 4 screws to pull off the whole housing to get into the wiring as well. So you got the 2 options. That's designed if you want to put it onto a boat panel. So what we used was to use a Stanley knife or something to cut out right beside the paper. So I've used the tape to hold it in so it doesn't move. So we go down the sides first, and then we use the top, take off the tape, and then we'll have a nice hole. As you can see, I've used a sharp knife to score the shape out, and then I'll just slowly go back around and around. There's probably another tool to use. Got started on that side, so once I got it all out, then I'll show you. So just used the Stanley knife, trimmed it all out, and then once I started getting through the other side, I started scoring the other side. Don't recommend it, but it took me a minute, 2 minutes. It'll just fall out nicely. Then this should just do it this way, make it easier. Get in there nice and snug, but it'll go around that side. Now I can screw all that in and then wire it up. I'm losing the sun, so I might have to do a little bit in the morning or something for you guys. Looks a bit of a mess, but that'll sit in there like that. We drilled a hole. I've got one connected, so that's pump 1, pump 2. Pump 1 will be the top one, pump 2 will be the bottom one. So now we'll hook the 2 negatives with the negative. We'll have to splice that later when I put a light in, but we'll do that then. We've got a heat shrink, which 2 plastic bits on the end locks in the cables, and then a solenoid in the middle which welds all the wiring together. So I can't do this with thing, but you know, we'll put it in there like that, put the other 2 cables in, and then we'll heat it. I'll see if I can get some video. Got a little tiny propane torch. Let's heat her up. So the plastic melts both ends, and then get the solenoid in the middle, soldering. Join together. Nice and tight. Not that bit on the end there. And then what I do is I wrap it. I'll wrap it in electrical tape anyway. But, it looks nice and tight. Not going to touch it and be nice and hot. But that should get that going nicely. Once again, I got the main negative wire. This is going to run straight to the battery. I've got 2 holes, one for positive, one for negative, and then we'll put some Sikaflex in there once we get them. So we'll solder these up, get them a bit hot. I thought that was just meant to melt, but hasn't quite melted, but it's melted now. Probably burnt it. That's all. See, I wrapped the other one up, nice and neat and tidy. Probably not as good as a water electrician, but she'll do the job. I'll wind that one up, then I'll do the same to a positive wire. I'll do both of those cables at the same time. It won't hurt what's there, and then when I do the lights, I can just plug it straight in and then just tap into one of these negative wires to earth it off. So I was going to put a little light in the toolbox, and I was thinking about putting 2 little spotlights on each end of the toolbox just to light up the ground at night time or something, where I can just flick it on. So early in the morning, or I'm doing a servo or something, I've got 2 little spotlights I can turn on. Same thing for the positive wire. Get the heater. And then some heat in there. You can see it's melted in there, and it's just all just going in like that. Probably a little bit exposed wires, but I'm wrapping it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just a helpful tip, when you got your wires running all the way through, I won't need that length, but I'll cut them off to where they perfectly fit the battery and give them a little bit of slack. These ones have got a little bit of slack, so you can get the head out. you scrunch up the wires inside. But what you can do is put Sikaflex inside there now, let it harden it overnight, and then every time you take off the head, these are sealed shut. And then you got that one coming out this side for the pump, so that'll sit in there like so. You just screw it, it's because the wiring. Once you get it down, it'll be nice and tight. It'll sit like that. Pump 1, pump 2, positive, negative, and it'll sit on the wall like that, nice and neat, tidy, nothing exposed. And then when I run the lights and stuff, I can run it out through the top here into a bit of conduit or something and make that nice and tidy across the toolbox itself. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll get some connectors. We'll get these connectors and we'll get them all welded up, so then it's just clip, 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 and it's all done. So just wiring up the second, I'm gonna use the welds, weld it in, and then tape it all up so it's neat and tidy. So you got 2 red wires, but one red wire has got a black strip on it, so that's your negative, and then your positive. So don't get that confused, otherwise you'll short out your pump by the time you get there. Okay, just a little tip. If you burnt the plastic all the way through and there's a little bit of wire exposed, don't tape those 2 wires together. Tape one first and then tape the other one, so then they're both completely sealed when you do that. So that way there's no wires touching and everything looks nice and solid. The top one I didn't melt all the way, but yeah, once we get that taped, and then we'll tape from there all the way back over to here to make it nice and strong connection, so when you tug on it, it doesn't pull apart later on. So got one side done. Then what I do is I'll grab them both together now, and then I'll wrap my tape around it without stopping, and then I've got one complete unit. So just like that, so it looks reasonably neat and tidy. It'll do the job. It'll connect up the pumps without opening this all the time, so we just quick connect the pumps in and out, so then we never have to open this unless there's a major problem or something's gone wrong. That's the only time you'll have to open that, because you just in and out, change your pumps over and you're done. So we'll probably pack up as we're losing the sun, and then we'll do a bit more in the morning, and that should be just about it. Okay, so I cut the positive, so I'm going to run it to a 50 amp breaker, so I can disconnect the battery from the unit itself. If I'm charging or anything, I don't want anything surging back up the line. So I'm going to mount that up the top here and breaker over there, run positive, negative back down to the battery. Then she's basically all connected up. Second pump's been wired up, first pump's wired up there. So we just got to screw him in, connect up the battery, and away it goes. Let's have a look. Alright, so we got negative and positive wired up to the circuit breaker. So nothing's working at the moment because the circuit's been broken. So that's all done. Pump 1 at the top, pump 2 down the bottom, so that's all good to go. So I'm just gonna put that up, 4 screws, put that in, connect up the pumps, and then we should be good as gold. Now without the other 2 circuits, we're gonna have spotlights down the bottom and cabin lights. I'm gonna put a light up the top there so I can see what I'm doing at night time, or if I do work at night time, I can see what I'm doing. So that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, remember this unit is for boats. they're not designed for soft washing. So I got cabin lights, spotlights, bilge pump, and a spare. So I'll just call them that, because the other options are accessories, DC charger, stereo, GPS, fridge, trim light, horn, and all that type of stuff. So I'll just call them that. Let's turn this on. I should have a little blue light up in there. Boom, 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 boom. To let me know they're on, and then I can switch them off. These switches are quite heavy duty too, but my pumps aren't connected, so I'll connect up my pumps now, and then we'll do a quick test run. Alright, so we're not going to put these on too long. That one there, and then because this is the new beach pump's got a switch on itself. That's my back one. Bang, bang, bang. All done. Hey guys, if there's anything I missed in this video, just let me know in the comments so I can make another little video to help you out, if it's wiring up connections or anything like that that I can help out with. I'm just making this content to help you out, help my son out, because when he takes over the business and he wants to re-watch these videos later on, he can re-watch them, and he can learn what to do. But playing around with 12 volt power is relatively simple. Make sure you hook up your positive and negative, have it all earthed out to your battery or to the tray of the ute, something like that. And then it's pretty easy to do. Yeah, normally you might have a bad fuse or something like that going, but other than that, she's looking pretty sweet. You know, I gotta pull it back out to get into the cabin lights, but the cabin lights will be just a matter of hooking up positive and negative. We'll do another video on that when I grab them. I haven't grabbed them yet. Yeah, so we'll do that, because we'll want to run a cabin light up here and a spotlight out this end and a spotlight out this end, just to light up the ground and stuff if I'm doing a night shift or doing a footpath or something at a shopping centre. So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, this video is all tied up, 12 volt. Thanks for watching, and I'll do a little montage and see how we go.